There we go. Whew, again, Fridays sometimes feel like Mondays. I hope you're all doing well. Today is September 6th. The cool weather is coming to Massachusetts. I know it's cooling down and summer's going away. I'm drinking more tea, still drinking water, but when I start drinking more tea, I realize that yes, the cooler and colder weather, it's all coming right now. Okay, well, let's jump in. I will make some time for Q&A. I welcome everyone. Thank you for subscribing. If you'd like to be a member, click that join button. Members are going to get tasks, follow-up tasks after this live stream. I'll put them on the community tab, so if you would like additional practice, just click the join button and you'll get access to that. I've also been giving my members at least one quiz a week, a little bit of a quiz, some language practice. So being a member is a way to go beyond my videos. Of course, I do check comments daily, so when you watch my videos and have questions, if you have a specific question, stick it in the comments and I'll do my best to answer. I check comments daily. But for the live streams, if you really want to go beyond and get some extra practice, then click join and become a member. If you are a member, thank you. And you'll get your follow-up tasks after this live stream. The topic today was chosen by my members. Not all members are voting in the poll, but the members who did vote helped me choose the topic. There was almost a tie, but the majority wanted sentence structure, reviewing sentence structure, syntax, how to build good sentences, how to get sentence variety. But there was also a desire, it came in second place, to focus on pronunciation. So I thought what we'd do is focus first on sentence structure, and then show how that relates to pronunciation, how the structure of our sentences affects our pronunciation. So I'll show you the connection. And overall, I do believe that all the skills are integrated. So I really do believe in giving attention to all skills. So in your own studies, when you choose videos or when you do self-study, think about what you're doing to develop all your skills: reading, writing, listening, speaking, pronunciation, grammar. Are you giving it all attention? And you'll start to see the connections. Yes, grammar does connect to pronunciation. Yes, pronunciation does connect to vocabulary. And if you say, oh, I'd really just like to focus on conversation, by writing and reading, you will enforce certain patterns and words, and that will make you more confident in your speaking. So that's the approach that I usually take, as I feel that all the skills are integrated. They're all connected. But we'll see a stronger connection today between sentence structure and our writing and pronunciation. Okay, more people are coming in, joining us. I see Muthu from India and Lamia from Egypt. Hi there. Gatashri, hello, with that thumbs up. Thank you. Manuel is not drinking tea. He's drinking coffee. He's a coffeeholic. Okay. All right, let's work my magic and see if I do this right. We're going to do my screen, and I will make sure that you see what I see. I'm going to look over on my laptop, and I've prepared a basic set of notes for us, and together we're going to add on to them, okay? And again, if you're watching the recording, thank you for taking time. And if you have questions as you watch the recording, you can put them in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them. I will check the chat periodically. If I miss a question, I apologize. I'll try to go back and see if there are any questions I missed, as my attention now is focused on my screen and not the chat so much. Okay, Clarina, hello, and Hepsi25, good to have you. Okay, all right, so we are going to focus on sentences. This is important, and believe me, I've seen plenty of native speakers have confusion and doubt over how to write sentences. Quite often I'll see something with sentences, ideas just pushed together, or commas thrown in where we might pause, and there isn't this strong sense of what is a sentence. What is a sentence? So basically, we need to make sure that you understand that sentences are these things called clauses. Clauses are ideas, and clauses have subjects and verbs. Some clauses can stand alone by themselves, and they make a sentence called an independent clause. Other clauses have a subject and a verb, but they cannot stand alone. They depend on another structure on another independent clause. So clauses have subjects and verbs. Some of them can stand alone, they're an independent clause, and some of them cannot stand alone. That's a dependent clause. Now in informal writing, texting, messaging, you can write dependent clauses and stick a period in there. We do this commonly with answers to the question why, like, why aren't you coming? Because I'm sick. Technically, because I'm sick, although it has a subject and a verb, a subject and a predicate, is not a complete sentence. It's a fragment of an idea. It depends on the fuller statement. I am not coming because I'm sick. So this is a good review of remembering what is a complete sentence. Again, in everyday spoken or informal writing, it doesn't matter too much, but there are times when proper sentence structure is expected because it really helps keep our communication clear. So the basic structure of a sentence is that we have a subject and a predicate. Who or what are we talking about? That's the subject. Right? And the predicate is all the information about the subject, what it is or what it does. I am a teacher. I am an English teacher. I am an online English teacher. So each time I said that, I is the subject, and the predicate is all that information about me, the teacher. Okay? Now, the subjects can be they can be bigger, not just a single pronoun. It could be Jennifer, the American woman Jennifer. The bigger subject is an online English teacher. So subjects can be a single word, like a name or a pronoun, or it could be a phrase, right? It could be a larger subject. And then the predicate contains the verb and all the information about the subject, who or what the subject is, or who or what the subject does. Okay? Hey, my hippo's here, and Stunning Glad One. Glad to have you. And Sadio joined me. Thank you. Naradan, hi there. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so that's the basic idea of a sentence. We speak in thoughts. Not all of our thoughts are complete thoughts, but our thoughts that are complete are called sentences. They have a subject and a predicate. There are types of sentences, and this is useful to understand how we build our ideas. If you forget terminology, it's okay. It's more important that you have the concept in your mind. If you mix up, wait, was that compound? Is that complex? It doesn't matter too much as long as you understand there are different ways to put our ideas together. So the other reason why we look at types of sentences is that if you're looking at your own writing and this is a situation where you really want to offer your best, you look for sentence variety. If you keep giving the same type of sentence, it lacks variety and your writing won't be as strong. If you use a lot of simple sentences, your writing can sound very choppy. Right? Lots of short ideas. There's a time and a place to write short, clear sentences, but in other situations, you want to strike a balance. You need good variety. Likewise, if you go with like really long sentences, clause after clause after clause, it becomes a little difficult. So there are sentences that are grammatically correct, but they're so long it becomes difficult for your reader to follow and digest everything. Okay, so what I'm going to do with your help, yep, we're going to write some examples, okay? I'll write some examples here and you guys will write some examples in the chat, okay? For some of you, this is a review. For others, it's somewhat newer to you. A simple sentence is an independent clause. It can stand by itself. So we have a subject and a verb, like Jennifer drinks tea. Right? The subject, Jennifer, and then there's the predicate. The predicate has a verb. What does she do? She drinks tea, right? Now, it could also be Jennifer and who else? Who else do I know? And Kimiko love tea, okay? Jennifer and Kimiko love tea. Your subject can be a single name. We could also have a compound subject. Jennifer and Kimiko love tea. Whoopsies. Jennifer enjoys, what do I enjoy doing? I enjoy drinking tea. I enjoy playing the piano, right? So it could be a single word. She enjoys music. It could be a gerund, ing, a gerund phrase, playing the piano. And although I don't play as often. I do have some accordions, and occasionally I'll pick them up and play. The predicate just became longer. Jennifer enjoys playing the piano and the accordion. Okay? Even though this is longer, it's still a simple sentence. I have a subject, and this is my predicate. So let me see if you guys can give me other examples of simple sentences, ideas with a subject and predicate, a subject and a verb, and it stands alone, all by itself. Okay? Sharon likes mangoes. I do too. And my response, I do too, is also a simple sentence. You are smart. I like that one. You are smart. Abdelaziz, you wrote. I like the mango one. I don't think I can get mangoes as easily as like bananas and peaches. I have to look for them in my grocery store. Okay, let's put these in different colors so they really stand out. Okay, so those are simple sentences. Compound. Compound sentences, we're joining, compounding, combining. We have two independent clauses. The way we join them is with joining words. Who remembers what those little words are called? Again, if you forget grammar terminology, sometimes it's okay. It's more important to understand the functions of words, how we use them. But when we make compound sentences, we might take one independent clause and then another, and we need to join them, not just with a comma, but a comma and a conjunction. Aha, I just gave it. A coordinating conjunction. He goes to the zoo. There we go. He is the subject, goes to the zoo is the predicate. I like that super long, simple sentence. But it shows you that maybe if it's really clunky, you might want to break it up into two simple sentences or a compound. What did you write there? The manager of the department, his assistant, and the new intern are preparing the quarterly report, reviewing the budget, and planning the next project. Yes, technically it's all correct. You can have a list of actions and a list of people. You might say the manager of the department, his assistant and new intern are preparing the quarterly report. They are also reviewing the budget and planning the next project. So there are ways to break up a really long idea. That's the beauty of knowing how to build sentences. Maybe a simple sentence is correct, but it's super long. It might be better to create two simple sentences or create a compound sentence. Yes, fanboys, not fun boys. I like that one though. Fanboys. Let's write that one. Fanboys, F4, I'll write that down there, with coordinating conjunctions. And yes, many people remember them with the fanboys. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. Okay. And also I want to remind you, on my website, if you look under the menu of students, you'll see a section called Improve Your Writing. And I have older videos, but they're still up there and clear. And I go over this information with examples, simple, compound, complex, and complex compound. So if you need an extra review, it's on my website. Fanboys are our friends. We join ideas together to create compound sentences. We take one independent clause and another and join them with a comma and a conjunction. These words build different kinds of relationships. It can be a result, an addition in a positive way, an addition in a negative way, a contrast, an alternative, yet is also a contrast. It's a bit more formal. For is like a reason, a result. It kind of sounds in meaning like because. And then so also introduces a result. Okay? Stunning Lad 1, I see you found the sticker for the mango. Okay. So is it Charan? Where's that? I want to see her. Did I see it correctly? Where's the mango? Okay, let's do the mango sentence. Here we go. I love Mangoes. Oh, goodness, I always forget. I'm going to actually... Mangoes, potatoes, that's one of those words. I'm actually looking in the dictionary right now. My computer did not underline it, but it's one of those words where you think, is it O-S or O-E-S? Usually I rely on my computer, word telling me if it's correct or incorrect, but it is, according to the dictionary, acceptable to use O-S or O-E-S, by the way. I love mangoes, but I don't eat them often. So I have two sentences. I love mangoes, but I don't eat them often. This is my comma and conjunction, one of the fanboys. So it's perfectly fine to have those sentences stand alone, but again, if we have too many of those short sentences, our writing can be choppy. And it's nice to show relationships between ideas, and conjunctions help do that for us. Do remember that we need a comma and a conjunction, because this is a full clause. This is a subject and a verb, and this is a subject and a verb. Okay. Lama, be careful though. Yes, there are lots of conjunctions, but there are groups of conjunctions. When we build compound sentences, we use coordinating conjunctions. We'll put that in a different color. Coordinating conjunctions. The fanboys are coordinating conjunctions. So for carries the same meaning as because. Because is a different kind of conjunction. Okay. Very good. So that's going to be in the next one. So for example, if I come here, I might take the idea of because I cannot find mangoes easily, I don't eat them very often. Okay, two ideas. I cannot find mangoes easily, right here. Subject, I cannot find. That's subject predicate in here, or subject verb in here. I don't eat. So both clauses have subjects and verbs. This one has a different kind of conjunction. We use what? Subordinating conjunctions. And again, it's less important to me that you remember the terms, but you know how to use them, okay? We have coordinating conjunctions that help us build compound sentences, and subordinating conjunctions because the prefix sub, you think of below, right? So you have your main clause, your independent clause, and then the dependent clause that needs that main idea in order to be a complete sentence, right? And with these complex sentences, we can often flip them around. I don't eat mangoes very often because I can't find them easily. I could flip it around. Because can go in the first position or the second. Usually when we put because in that first position, I put a comma here before the main clause. If I put because in the second position, some writers don't use that comma. There's not always agreement over that, but there is agreement here. Because in the initial position, then this clause is followed by a comma. Okay? I love to drink wine on Friday night. What is that? I is the subject. Love to drink wine on Friday night. All of that is the predicate. So predicates can be short. I love to drink wine. But Ma Hippo said, I love to drink wine on a Friday night, every week, or something like that. You can give quite a lot of information in the predicate. So it's interesting that there can be somewhat short compound sentences and somewhat long simple sentences. So as long as you understand how they're put together and the right way to put ideas together, that's what's important, okay? Then we move on to complex. Complex. Let me see more. It's the national fruit? I didn't know. I wonder if every country has a national fruit. I wonder what the national fruit of the United States is. An apple? I don't know, like apple pie. That's something for all of us to Google and look up. Do we have national fruits? And if we don't, what do you think your national fruit should be? Do we really need to balance the clauses? She enjoys reading and he likes reading. No, I mean, and use your logic. If there's repetition, there's usually an opportunity to reduce it and drop some words. So look at that example. Abdelaziz Mustafa wrote, she enjoys reading and he likes writing. Oh, but that's a contrast. Yeah. But if it was she enjoys reading and he enjoys reading, why wouldn't you just say both Both of them enjoy reading, right? If it's a contrast, then yes, that would make sense to use a compound sentence. She enjoys reading and he likes writing. Or you might say, but he likes writing. So it also depends on what kind of relationship you see between the clauses. Some people are thinking, well, they both enjoy certain activities. They both enjoy language. It's just that she enjoys reading and he enjoys writing. Or you might see it more as a contrast and use but. She enjoys reading, but he enjoys writing. That's the viewpoint of the speaker or the writer. I love my friend because she is beautiful. Oh, that's nice. I hope we all have beautiful friends. Because my friend is so beautiful, I love her very much. You can flip them around. Complex sentences allow us to do that very often. You're welcome. Take care. I see. IB, you're leaving. Okay. Okay. All right. So we saw simple and compound. Complex is when I had a dependent clause joined with an independent clause, right? And again, look at this. You could have more than one independent clause. It's possible. Let me think of how I might do that. What did you say? Canary Islands? Canary Islands. Okay. Mangoes, which are the national fruit. The mango. Actually, let me do it this way, because the mango, which is the national fruit of the Canary Islands. And again, I'm not fact-checking this. I'm taking your word for it. I didn't know that the mango is the national fruit of the Canary Islands. The mango, which is the national fruit of the Canary Islands, is delicious and nutritious. So, and that's why, and let me keep that simpler. And so it's actually popular around the world. Woo, look at that. Okay. The mango is delicious and nutritious. I can say that as an independent clause. The mango is delicious and nutritious. This is possible. We sometimes put two coordinating conjunctions together. You don't have to. I can just say, and it's actually popular around the world, or so it's really popular. I just wanted to show that as a possibility. And yet is another combination that you'll see. And so, and yet. There are times when writers like to put two of those conjunctions together. Let me just change it back to one so you see the basic pattern here. The mango is delicious and nutritious, and it's actually popular around the world. Oh, I think I just changed that. I'm going to put that down here, because look what I did. I created two independent clauses. See what I did? One, and then this is two. I have two independent clauses, and then this is my adjective clause, which cannot stand alone, right? Adjective clauses, relative clauses are dependent clauses. All of this gives me more information about the mango. I don't need it, but it's there as extra information. So I have one dependent clause, and then I have two dependent clauses joined by one of the fanboys here. Do you see the difference? I cannot find mangoes. Because I cannot find mangoes easily, I don't eat them very often, which makes me sad. It doesn't, but let's, for the sake of our exercise, we'll do this. Look at that. I just added another relative clause, and this comments on the whole sentence. Like, I don't eat them very often, and that makes me sad. But I'm going to use which makes me sad. Which refers back to the whole clause. We can do that with the relative pronoun which. I wanted to do that to show you that I have two dependent clauses. This one with because, and this one with which. And then I only have one dependent clause. Okay? So either way, this is still complex. Whether I write it like this or I write it like that, it still remains a complex sentence. When I add another independent clause, this one is the second one, it becomes complex compound. Are you following me? Hey, Yvonne is here. Hugs to you. Okay. Again, you might get a little confused with the terminology. If you'd like to review on my website with these types, I'll put this here. This is a page that you can go to. Actually, let me see if I can work a little magic right here. Boop, 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 boop. Where is it? There it is. Boom. Okay. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Okay, so if you want to review simple, compound, complex, and complex compound, there is that exercise on my website, okay? And you can review what the types are and see examples. The mind that seeks knowledge and the heart that seeks understanding find wisdom in the simplest moments and grow stronger with each lesson learned. That's beautiful. And let's think about the structure of that. The mind that seeks the knowledge. So you have the mind and the heart. That itself would be a compound subject, but you're giving me relative clauses, which are dependent clauses. The mind that seeks the knowledge and the heart that seeks the understanding. We already have two dependent clauses, okay? Find wisdom in the simplest moments and grow stronger with each lesson learned. So it could be a sentence where we say the heart and the mind find wisdom. That would be a simple sentence. But now we have two independent clauses. So I see that as complex, correct? Interesting, right? So clauses have subjects and verbs. Some clauses can stand alone as independent clauses, and some of them are dependent. They need to join with an independent clause in order to be a complete sentence, okay? Wow, so that's the first part of sentence structure. Next, we're going to look at certain patterns. But already, even with this framework in place, we can start talking about how types of sentences and the type of sentence structure can affect pronunciation. Those of you who've worked with me, especially one-on-one, we've marked up thought groups. We do a lot of oral reading because thought groups help create phrasing. It creates a rhythm. It helps us breathe in natural places so that our speech flows. And when you practice oral reading, you train yourself to speak in thought groups, right? And this carries over into your speech so that when you are speaking, you're pausing in natural places and creating a natural rhythm. And it still flows because ideas are put together. You're not breaking words up or ideas up in awkward places. Often, if you follow my oral reading playlist, so oral reading fluency develops that sense of how we speak in thought groups, which words we stress and where the intonation rises and where it falls. I often use slashes. Other people use this practice too. I certainly didn't invent it. And the slashes show thought groups. So here, for example, I'm going to put 2 slashes at the end of a sentence. Okay. I apologize. I think ads are popping up. I apologize. Okay. Jennifer drinks tea. If it's a short statement, you just read it as one thought group, right? That's what I see. Jennifer drinks tea. Jennifer and Kimiko love tea, right? You could still say that as one thought group. It's short enough. This one becomes longer. Jennifer enjoys playing the piano and the accordion. It's a short subject, but the predicate is long. It might make sense to break up the 2 different objects, right? So the predicate, the subject can join with the verb because it's quite short, but I would probably break up the object, verb and object, right? We have the verb and object 1 and object 2. Jennifer enjoys playing the piano and the accordion, and it flows more nicely that way. Dun, dun, dun. This and that. She enjoys playing the piano and the accordion. I love mangoes, but I don't eat them often. Very often with these compound sentences, especially shorter clauses, we're going to have 2 thought groups. This but that. I love mangoes, but I don't eat them often. With this one, what would I do? Again, punctuation helps. It usually tells us where some breaks are. But if it's a particularly long idea, we might break it up further. Here, I'm following the commas. Because I cannot find mangoes easily, I don't eat them very often, which makes me sad. Right? It would be weird if I said, because I cannot find mangoes easily, I don't eat them very often, which makes me sad. Right? That kind of awkward breaking doesn't make the idea flow nicely. It flows so much more nicely and easily when I use thought groups. And thought groups are basically our ideas, are the grammatical units that represent our ideas. Because I cannot find mangoes easily, I don't eat them very often, which makes me sad. Okay? Complex compound, I'm going to follow the punctuation. And listen to how this one flows. The mango, which is the national fruit of the Canary Islands, is delicious and nutritious, and it's actually popular around the world. Right? So you can do this too. You can go back, I'll hold the screen here. You can pause the video if you're watching the recording and practice reading these sentences and follow the thought groups. Right? This is where the sentence begins. Right? Between sentences, we pause. We pause at ends of sentences. So you take your breath, take a break, right? But even within, there's a slight pause, right? Yes, we're going to get to prepositional phrases in a moment, and participial phrases, so much grammar. And if the grammar terms overwhelm you, it's more important just to understand the concepts. The terms help us identify things and talk about the grammar, but it's more important that you just retain the concepts of how we're building sentences and why we have these different structures. Okay? Super. Okay, let's go on. Okay, scrolling. Sentence patterns. I do have some videos on this. Also, please read video descriptions because, I like to update my knowledge as I learn myself and have a firmer understanding of grammar. I'm constantly learning myself, and what I learn, I share. So I do have a video, and I remember putting some updated notes in the video description on that video. Okay? So, we just saw the types. Now let's look at patterns. Subject and verb, right? This is like a simple sentence, like I drink tea. Oh, actually, I drink. That's I'm just breaking my own pattern. I teach. That's what I do. What do? I teach. But I teach English. I drink tea. Right? So some verbs have objects. If it takes an object, it's a transitive verb. If it does not take an object, we call it an intransitive verb. It's important to know that some verbs are transitive and need an object. It's awkward not to have an object. Other times there are verbs that can be either transitive or intransitive. When you're in doubt, check a dictionary. When you're learning phrasal verbs, it's so very important to understand whether they're transitive or not. Do they take an object or not? But a sentence can be as simple as 2 words. I teach. Or we can say what you teach. I teach English. I drink tea. Some people get confused about objects and complements, but the verb will help you out. When we have the subject-verb complement, let me write that down, subject-verb complement, because I want to make sure you see it and write it like that, not like not like that, which is a different word. Complement is you are so wonderful. You guys are super smart. I'm giving you compliments. I'm using this word, complement. Subject verb complement. I'll put this a little smaller. Whoopsies, either way. The verbs are linking verbs. Who can give me an example of a linking verb? Yes. Stunning lights. Riding horses is fun. Horseback riding is fun. Subjects can be gerunds or gerund phrases. Lots of different ways we can create subjects. We can use nouns, pronouns, or anything that behaves like a noun can be your subject. So teach. What I love to do is teach. Look at that. I just use a noun clause. What I love to do is teach. And so what I have here is a clause, what I love to do. It's a dependent clause. It cannot stand on its own. It's a WH clause. It's a noun clause. And I made that the subject. This one I'm actually going to take down here because this is an example of complement. This is a linking verb. Okay. Teaching is rewarding. Forget about which include imperatives. Those are types of sentences, right? You get into, are you asking a question? Is it an interrogative sentence? Is it a statement? Is it a declarative sentence? Or sometimes it could be just exclamatory, like, oh my gosh. Imperatives are commands, like open the door. In that case, by the way, there is a subject. It's you. You open the door. But with imperative sentences, we don't write the subject. It's understood. Open the door means you open the door. Right? You open the door, subject, verb, object. Okay? So linking verbs are verbs like be. Patience is a virtue. Beautiful. I like that example very much. Always look and write before using cross. A command. Yes, imperatives are commands. Okay? Linking verbs, guys, are verbs like be, appear, seem, all of the senses like smell, taste. It smells good. It tastes nice. It tastes delicious, right? It looks beautiful. The sense verbs are often used as linking verbs. It doesn't mean we can't use them like this. If I say, I was smelling the flowers or the roses. Here I'm using smelling as an action verb. And what were you smelling? The roses. But I could say here, the roses smell beautiful, right? Here I'm using it as a linking verb. Linking verbs link something, some information about the subject. So we have a subject, a linking verb, and then there's information. It can be an identity, like I am a teacher. Teacher identifies me. Or she is nice. Nice describes the subject. There's more information about the subject. That's what the complement does. So the linking verb links the subject complement to the subject, and we get information, very important information about the subject. It often identifies or defines the subject for us. Okay? All right. This one, subject, verb, object. There are words or verbs that take two objects. I have a lesson called ditransitive verbs. So transitive means it takes an object. Di is a prefix that means two. There are ditransitive verbs. They're verbs that take two objects. So sometimes we're going to build sentences where we have a subject. This necklace, by the way. Words like give, send, write often are used with prepositions like to and for. This necklace was my mom's, and her friend gave it to her. The friend's name is Joyce. I have good memories of Joyce in our neighborhood down the street. Joyce was a very sweet and wonderful neighbor, good mom. Joyce gave the necklace to my mom. Okay? Here's the subject. Here's the verb, and then look what happens. Two objects. What did she give? The necklace. To whom or to who? My mom. And you could also rewrite that sentence. Some of you might already be rewriting it in your head. The food smells fishy, yeah. Or you can say a situation smells fishy, right? Suspicious in that way. I love eating. What is biryani? With a cool drink. I'll have to Google that. Or can you tell me, Sharon? What is biryani? But a good example of subject, verb, object. What do you love? She loves eating, using a gerund phrase. I love eating brilliante, with a cool drink, right? Or a cold drink. Yes, it is important. I agree with that, Abdelaziz. If you're writing these long series, like 3 subjects or 3 actions, you want parallel structure, which is another wonderful topic we can have in the future. Birani. Do you know how else I can write the sentence, guys? What if I took the preposition to out? What happens? Right? Joyce gave my mom the necklace. This is still subject, verb, object, object. Okay? And then we have, let's put this down here. This one, here's a good example. I considered Joyce a wonderful person and neighbor. I have nice memories of her. I considered Joyce a wonderful person. Subject, verb, object, and then I have a complement, right? What did I think about Joyce? I considered her a wonderful person. This also happens like with nominating, electing, naming. Like, I'm sure I won't get into politics here. I'll just use a quick example, but let's see. We elect someone president. Okay. Let's just do it that way. We elect someone president. Why do you have voting? What is election day? We need this day. We need the process because that's how we elect someone president. We is the subject, elect, verb, someone, object, president. That's your complement. So consider someone something. Elect someone something. These are examples of verbs with an object and then a complement. Adverbials just give extra information. It could be a single word or a phrase. It could be a prepositional phrase. Adverbials answer questions like how, when, why, right, where. So I could say, for example, I could put the adverbial here. We elect someone president every 4 years. Adverbials are interesting because very often there's some flexibility. I could also put it at the front of the sentence, right? Every 4 years, we elect someone president. I could also have 2. I could put this back here, whoopsies, and say we elect someone president every 4 years. That's a time phrase telling me when. And I can also say in the U.S. Maybe it's different in other countries, but in the U.S., place where we elect someone president when? Every 4 years. So this, I'm going to put down here, because adverbials are things that we can just add on for extra information. So if this is an adverbial, let me go like this so you can see how it works. I can give information perhaps here. I can give information perhaps there about where and when. But the basic sentence is still the same up here. We elect someone president. Subject, verb, object, complement. And I used my adverbials to give more information. Okay? That's an overview. It's important to understand how sentences are put together. And reading is a nice way to reinforce this because you see the written language, you see the sentences, and your mind is not always consciously focused on the structure, but it's there, and you're making yourself familiar with certain patterns, certain combinations. And that's why reading is, for one of many reasons, why it's so wonderful. Okay? You also knew a Joyce? Yeah, it's not a popular name anymore, isn't it? But I like it. Yes, the less said, the better. Okay. Oh, nice. Yes, you can choose someone as your teammate. There's a good one. I chose her, so subject, verb, object. I chose her, but as. I made her my teammate. I made her my partner. Made would work there. That would be an example of this. I made her my partner. I made her my teammate. or I consider her a good partner. I consider her a good teammate. That would work. But I chose her as my teammate. As, I would see that more as an adverbial. How, like, as what? In what sense? Okay? So hopefully that gives you a basic review, again, of the sentence types and sentence patterns. As I said, sometimes the terminology gets confusing, but you want to simply understand the concepts of how we're putting ideas together. Some sentences need subjects and predicates. You have a subject and a verb. Sometimes verbs have objects. Linking verbs have complements, subject complements. Some verbs can have two objects. Very often it's with the prepositions to and for, like I wrote a letter for you. I wrote this poem for you. I prepared this lesson for you, right? Subject, verb, object, complement. This happens with words like consider, elect, name, okay? What I love to do is teach. Yes, teaching is what I love to do. That's another topic we can focus on. And I do have lessons on emphasizing ideas. By moving that WH clause to the front of the sentence, I'm emphasizing it. What I love to do is teach, right? Teaching is what I love to do. You can flip it around. Some flexibility exists there. Okay, so let's see it all in action. Scrolling down, down, down. I want you to see the sentence patterns in use as we wind down. This is an excerpt from my review on The Dressmaker. I haven't seen this film in a while, but I have seen it at least a couple times. And you know, if it's on TV when I'm changing channels and I see it, I'll watch part of it. I like Kate Winslet. I thought it was very original. I like original movies, right? I haven't seen any movie like this. I do believe it was based on a book, but I enjoyed it. It's a very interesting plot. The Dressmaker came out in 2015. And what I have here is just a little excerpt. So I'm going to read it sentence by sentence, and let's see if we can make sense of how these sentences were put together. And then I'll end by reading it aloud, and you'll see how the grammar influences my pronunciation, how it influences the thought groups and the rhythm, and which words I stress as well. Okay? Oh, same thing. Oh boy, yes, politics. We won't get into the commentary of how ridiculous we must look to any alien species watching us try to figure out how to govern ourselves, right? We're still so new at it, relatively speaking. Okay. The movie tells the story of a woman who returns to her hometown in Australia to confront her past and the people who turned against her. Ooh, quite a long sentence. Quite a long sentence. Clauses. Do you see a main clause? And do you see any dependent clauses? Clauses have subjects and verbs. Not all clauses can stand alone. Dependent clauses have to join with an independent clause to be a sentence. They might join with a conjunction and form a compound sentence, or they might form otherwise. Complex sentences often use subordinating conjunctions, but there are also dependent clauses like WH clauses, which we just saw, or relative or adjective clauses. I think the more you watch it, then it makes sense. It's a little sad. I think that's why I like it, because all American movies have happy endings, pretty much. And this one was a little strange and sad towards the end, but there was definitely a sense of finality there. Okay, look, the subject, the movie. What does the movie do? Here's this verb, tells. Tells what? Object. Subject, verb, object. The movie tells the story. What kind of story? We have a prepositional phrase. It gives us more information. I see that as an adverbial. But which woman who returns to her hometown in Australia to confront her past? She returns to her hometown in Australia to confront her past. That's an adjective clause, a relative clause, and it is dependent. It cannot stand alone. So immediately I know I'm probably going to have a complex sentence here, because I have the independent clause and I have my first dependent clause. But it's telling the story of the woman, and she's confronting two things, her past and the people. Which people? There's another relative clause to identify those people. Who turned against her? The people turned against her. So there are two dependent clauses that give information, and there's that main clause. The movie tells the story. How would I start breaking it up? The movie tells the story. The movie tells the story of a woman. I could possibly say it all in one breath, but the movie tells the story of a woman who, you could break it up here. There's different ways, but I might suggest this. The movie tells the story of a woman who returns to her hometown in Australia to confront her past and the people who turned against her. The movie tells the story of a woman who returns to her hometown in Australia to confront her past and the people who turned against her. Okay? Next, she cleverly uses her dressmaking skills to find the truth and gain revenge. This is an adverb, but here we have subject, verb. What does she use? Her dressmaking skills. Why does she use them? How does she use them? In order to find the truth and gain revenge. I see that as an adverbial. It's an infinitive of purpose. In order to. Oh, everyone can have different taste in films. I personally liked it. I found it unique. It was definitely original. She cleverly uses her dressmaking skills to find the truth and gain revenge. You could say all of this, to find the truth and gain revenge, but you might also to find the truth and gain revenge. The slower you speak, the more thought groups you will have. If you speak faster, you might say thought groups with a longer length. I would say she cleverly uses her dressmaking skills to find the truth and gain revenge. I like the film so much that I've seen it a few times already. Subject, verb, what did you like? Object. But then I give more information. Is this the only subject and verb? Do you see another subject and verb? Okay. I've seen. What you're saying is, I like the film. How much did you like it? I'm giving another, I would see it as an adverb clause, right? It's giving me information about how much I liked it. So much that I've seen it. I cannot say all of this by itself. That's dependent on the main clause. I liked the film. I could say I liked it very much. So much that forces me to create a dependent clause to explain how much. So I see this as a complex sentence. I like the film so much that I've seen it a few times already. The costumes are amazing. The story is gripping. And the humor is rewarding. Look what we have. Could these sentences stand by themselves? The costumes are amazing. The story is gripping. The humor is rewarding. Yes. Okay. But I'm using comma conjunction here. I have a series of clauses. 1, 2, and 3 ideas. The costumes are amazing, the story is gripping, and the humor is rewarding. The viewers feel the suffering of different characters, and their acts of courage delight us. Subject, what are they doing? Feeling. Feeling what? Object. Suffering of whom? Prepositional phrase, like an adverbial. What kind of conjunction? Think of the fanboys. Coordinating conjunction. Coordinating conjunctions create compound sentences. Could I read the two just as two thought groups? Do I have enough breath? The viewers feel the suffering of different characters. It's quite a lot. I might break it up before the prepositional phrase. And so you see that longer adverbials tend to be said as a single thought group. So I'm going to read subject, verb, object as one thought group, and then the prepositional phrase as a second. And they're acts of courage. This is the subject. The predicate is quite short. I'm going to break that off, and it will be the final thought group. Delight us. So the final thing I'll do now is read this through, and you'll see how the sentences were put together and how that influences the way I'm reading. The grammar influences my pronunciation. The movie tells the story of a woman who returns to her hometown in Australia to confront her past and the people who turned against her. She cleverly uses her dressmaking skills to find the truth and gain revenge. I like the film so much that I've seen it a few times already. The costumes are amazing, the story is gripping, and the humor is rewarding. The viewers feel the suffering of different characters, and their acts of courage delight us. Okay, there's a lot you can get out of movie reviews. Oral reading, listening practice, the grammar and the vocabulary are reinforced. So you've just seen how sentence structure does affect pronunciation. Specifically, it affects the thought groups, how we break up ideas. You can hear the grammar in an oral reading. And so I would like to invite you, if you have not done already, to use my free digital download. It's the Movie Power Pack. It's the link on my YouTube homepage. Let me see if I can actually get that up. Boop, 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 not there. Not there, here we go. Oops. Okay, so if you're on my page and you open this up, you can see the different links that I offer, and the Movie Power Pack opens this up. Okay? All right. Okay, so the link is there. Just click it, and it's a free download. There are 10 movie reviews, and again, you can use it in different ways. You'll pick up vocabulary, you'll see the grammar, and now with awareness, you can look at how I built sentences. Okay. If you'd like to study with me more, there's more coming up in September. Patreon is starting again. We took a little break. Let me jump here first. So Patreon is starting, and we're going to have a couple classes on the 13th and the 27th. These are 75-minute classes on Zoom where cameras and microphones can be turned on. There are pre- and post-lesson tasks, exclusive materials. If that sounds up your alley and you're B2 plus, you can consider signing up. We're just getting started again. I do want to thank all my current members. Thank you, including kind-hearted patrons on Patreon. Thank you so much. I'm going to take a moment now to see if there are any final comments or questions. Otherwise, we're going to wind down. Okay. Oh, thank you, Stunning Lad One. Thank you. Oh, Teacher's Day, is it? Anita, thank you. Stunning Lad One. Everyone has their choices of movies, of what movies resonate with you, which movies delight you or inspire you or simply entertain you. But it is a wonderful way. And by the way, don't forget, I did recommend LingoPie in a previous live stream. So I think it's a wonderful way to watch movies. If you like movies in general, you can pick up the listening and the vocabulary through that wonderful resource. But hopefully you'll also consider the movie reviews that I've prepared for you. It comes with vocabulary notes, and you can use both the PDF and the audio. So you can use it for listening practice and for oral reading practice or just reading. Okay? All right. Hey, Kenneth is here. And thank you for being with me, Kenneth. Golfed her too quickly, yet she still managed to smile warmly at her students, answering their questions with patience and care. Oh, what beautiful sentence structure you have. And I will be challenging my members to produce some beautiful sentences and sentence variety. If you'd like to join that follow-up activity, then make sure you're a member and check the community tab a bit later today. Okay? Yes, Juliana. Yes. And remember, also on my website, englishwithjennifer.com, look under students. There's lots of resources, but there's a page called Improve Your Writing, and I go over through videos the types of sentences. Also here on YouTube, you can check out my grammar playlist, and there's a video on sentence patterns and ditransitive verbs. So when you watch videos and have questions, put your questions in the comments and I'll do my best to answer. Okay? All right, guys, thank you so much. And Stunning Ladwin, again, thank you for your generous support. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Thank you for joining me. And thank you, members, also, for choosing to go beyond the videos. Patreon members, I'll see you on Patreon.